Hello and welcome, everyone, to Good Old Rocky Talk, a Vols Society podcast. I'm your host, Brad, here with my partners, the Davids. We're glad you're listening wherever you are. This is Good Old Rocky Talk. 9-1. The Volunteers are 9-1. How great does that feel to hear, Morrison?
It's awesome to be 9-1, going into the final two games of the season, and in this playoff discussion that we're about to dive into. We're very thankful to be in this position compared to a lot of other teams in the nation right now.
You better believe it. Hello, everyone. This is your host, Brad Frank, and your founder of Vols Society. Here with my partner tonight, David Morrison, who you just heard. And we're without, I regret to say, but we're without our other partner, David Dees, tonight. Unfortunately, the schedules didn't align, and, you know, life happens. But that's okay. Hopefully he'll be back next week with us. But tonight you got me, you got David Morrison, and my goodness, guys, would you ever have believed 9-1 this time last year? Like, did you think like year two under Heupel, we're going to be saying 9-1? I mean, it's insane.
I had us going 9-3 in the preseason. I'm thinking we would get that ninth win after Vanderbilt. Now, we got it, during the Missouri game. I mean, it was in November, but I thought it was going to be right after Thanksgiving. We would be 9-3 and thinking, okay, 9-3, take us to a nice, Florida Bowl. Looking for a 10-win season. That's great for year two, but just with big moment after big moment, big win after big win, knocking out two big rivals, and the college football nation talking about us, still talking about us to a certain degree, but definitely a lot of hype and a lot of focus was on this football program, and it's been a very long time, Brad, since that we've had this attention drawn to us in our football program.
Oh, yeah. And we were talking about before the season started, like, man, I just hope this year we make a bowl game again, and hopefully it's a decent bowl this year. Guys, we're sitting here possibly getting ready to make the playoffs. The playoffs. It's crazy. Soak it in, boys and gals, because this is great. One of the best seasons I can remember in years. I mean, just fun, right? We're having fun.
Yeah, absolutely. This has just been a lot of fun watching. We've talked about the stories kind of throughout the season of just younger Vol fans and Vol fans that watch these teams just been mediocre for the most part, and now just having a great season, and happy for the younger Vol fans and happy for the kids. I talked about the young trick-or-treater that came to our trunk or treat that was so excited to see my Jeep decked out in Tennessee gear, and kind of another story. So I was at the game on Saturday for Vol Society, but also going for my birthday, and I sit with a gentleman that sit beside me, and he asked me, "Hey, do you go to many of these Tennessee games?" And I said, "Sure, I've been quite a few." And he said, "Well, I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. My daughter is doing a campus tour this weekend. She wants to be a nurse," and kind of told me the whole backstory. But he said, "I just want to tell you, number one, your state is so beautiful. We come down here for summer vacation every year in the Smoky Mountains, but this is really the first time we've really been to Knoxville per se." And he really complimented the state. But he said, "I'm very excited for your football program." And he's an Ohio State fan. Their family are Ohio State fans, even though they live in Pittsburgh.
We won't hold that against him.
No, I won't hold it against him. I was being the gentleman I was. But he said, I'm very excited for your football program. This is our first time at Neyland Stadium, and he said your stadium is just gorgeous, and the campus is gorgeous, and he was just very complimentary, very compliment to Tennessee fans, just being very welcoming. He said, that's just the bad negative press. I said he said he hasn't experienced that, so it was just cool to hear from even from an Ohio State fan or a fan outside the Tennessee fandom to really hear good stuff about our program, and really cool to meet him this weekend.
Awesome story. That's cool, man. And happy birthday to you. David celebrated his birthday Saturday at the Missouri game
Mm-hmm.
with a heck of a win. A
Yeah.
total obliteration is what
I
that
was hoping they would score 37 points for my 37th birthday, and they almost doubled it. They almost doubled my age, but I'll take it.
That was a birthday obliteration bash for you, Morrison. That's what happened Saturday.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's talk real quick about Vols Society. I got some stuff to tell you guys. If you're listening right now, we thank you for joining us and subscribing to us. But if you're not following us on our Facebook page, hey, I got to tell you, I've been saying it about every week. We gained another 1,000 followers. We've almost gained another 1,000. We're maybe 100 away. I'll have to double check this. But we are right at about 100 away from another 1,000. Puts us at 24,000 Vols Society followers. This is insane. And I'll tell you what. Just to give you an idea of how awesome Vols Society is right now. So when we won that game Saturday, okay, I created a graphic, and it was a picture of the team, I believe, and I put this really cool sketch in there of 9-1, and then I posted it immediately after the game, okay, on our Facebook page. Okay. As of today, that one post has had 28,000.6 likes, 1,000 comments, and 4.2, now listen to this, 4.2 thousand shares. Guys, if you aren't following us, you're missing out. I mean, that's ridiculous. And all of our posts, have you noticed this, Morrison? All of our posts are that's becoming the norm. It's insane.
It is insane, but very humbling that, we have Vol fans sharing our content out, and spreading the name of Vol Society throughout Tennessee football fandoms. And there's many of Tennessee fan pages galore, but it's just very humbling, and just seeing one of our posts trend like that just really takes us back, because we mentioned this. I know I mentioned this on our show, but we're just regular Tennessee fans. We have a normal life. Some of us are married and have kids, and we have a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday job, and we're doing this just for the love of Tennessee football. And for seeing numbers like that on our social media pages, we just say thank you, Vol Society. Thank you to our fans. Of course, we have people that come on and troll from time to time, and
Georgia fans. Yeah, I said it.
You said it.
I said it. And if they're listening, that's okay.
That's fine.
Hey, you don't hurt my feelings. But I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to talk about it because you know what? It's my podcast. I'm going to do what I want to do. Georgia fans don't like it. Get out of here. But I'm going to tell you right now, guys, you're not bothering me. If you're a Georgia fan and you're a troll on there commenting, and by the way, I've never seen so many of you guys on here on our Facebook page trolling daily. And we've played many other teams, and even Bama has more respect than that. They're not even really. We've had a handful of Bama people. But Georgia fans, man, I tell you guys are really showing us who you are. That's all I'm going to say. You're not hurting my feelings. You go ahead and keep posting. I laugh.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get mad. Trust me, I don't get mad.
No.
But you're really showing who you are. That's all I'm going to say about that.
They're like flies in the summertime that just buzz around your house. Come in constantly.
I'm all about having some friendly, fun stuff. But man, I in all honesty, I can't believe I have more out of since we've started this. Really, since the game happened between Tennessee and Georgia, that's when it's really gotten out of control. I have so little respect for that fan base now because of just what I've seen. Sorry, it is what it is. I'm not saying every Georgia fan's like that. They're probably not. We have Tennessee fans, I'm sure, that are crazy as well. Every fan base has it.
November 18th, 2023.
But that's Georgia fans, you guys are killing me here. Just pitiful. Anyways, let's move on. All right, guys. Yeah. So Tennessee beat Missouri this past Saturday. Correction, obliterated Missouri this past Saturday. 66. You heard that right. 66-24. We even had a Joe Milton, Uncle Rico throwing a football over the mountains, baby. There at the very end to our buddy Squirrel White.
Yep.
Heck of a win. 66 points. Gosh, David. Unreal. Am I right?
Absolutely. We talked about Tennessee need to come out and kind of curb stomp some teams, and they came out and it was a statement win indeed. 66
hey, and you know what?
Points.
Not to cut you off before you get into
the
stats, but it's even more incredible, that score to me, considering that first and second quarter, it was a slow start for us.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you wouldn't know it if you didn't watch the game. 66 points. I tell you, when the team is on, they're on. It just shows when they finally get things in order. I mean, we did not play a full game at 66 points. It's really just I don't know. When did we start throwing up all those points? Was it second, third quarter? Because I know it wasn't early.
It was
first half.
It was in the third quarter. So at the 8:55 mark in the third quarter, Missouri scored a 38-yard touchdown pass, Brady Cook to Dominic Lovett. It was 28-24.
Okay.
And then that's when it was 28-24 at the 8:55 mark, and then Tennessee got the opening kick and then ran a play, and then that's when Hendon Hooker hit Jalen Hyatt for 68 yards and a touchdown, made it 35-24. Missouri didn't score after that. The route started from the 8.5 minute mark in the third quarter literally to the end of the game. And
it's incredible.
There was some controversy with that last touchdown run. I know the CBS crew, which it wasn't Brad and Gary, it was Tom McCartney and Rick Neuheisel, they really criticized our final touchdown. But all we've heard all week is Tennessee needs style points. They need to win big. I mean, we did what we were supposed to do. I mean,
I don't care what those announcers say, what these stations say. They say that garbage. But yet they say the opposite too.
Yeah, it's like,
they need to throw up on it. And then when we actually do it, they're mad about it. Get out of here. It's a joke.
Yeah. And they talked about, Eli Drinkowitz, he's going to put that in the back of his mind. I don't see Eli Drinkowitz ever defeating Tennessee while he's there.
No.
It was shocked me.
No. Real quick, Morrison, go through the stats. I like you going through the stats. You always have the stats ready to rock. Heck, that's why I hired you, man. That's why I hired you as our lead analyst at Vols Society, for that reason. Go. Let's hear these stats. And by the way, can you start with one for me, Morrison? Can you
Okay.
start with total offense yards? How
Total
many offensive?
offense. Okay.
Do you know what?
So,
Do you know what that
yeah,
was?
yeah, I do. I just pulled it up right now. Tennessee total offense 724 total yards of offense in this game, which that either broke
God.
I think that either broke the single game record or it came very close to breaking the single game record. I have to double check.
Absolute discrimination. I made that word up.
You can't get 724 on Madden half the time.
When I make a
Even
word
on
up,
rookie mode.
it's
Yeah.
It means something, folks.
Absolutely.
That was a discrimination.
Mhm.
Unbelievable. We're like a couple hundred away from 1,000 total yards.
It's unreal.
Gosh. All right, Morrison, go through the stats real quick. Hooker and all the guys. Let's hear it.
All right, so talked about both quarterbacks, Hendon Hooker and Joe Milton. Hendon Hooker passing wise, 25 for 35, 355 yards, 3 touchdowns, QBR of 95.4, and no interceptions again.
Wow.
And then Joe Milton in mop-up duty, 3 for 3, 105 yards, 1 touchdown, QBR of a perfect 100, and Joe Milton threw more passing yards in 3 plays than Will Levis did the entire Kentucky Vanderbilt game.
Did you hear that, Vol Society? Say that again, Morrison. Joe Milton did what?
Joe Milton in 3 passes went 3 for 3, 105 yards, touchdown, threw more passing yardage than Will Levis did in the Kentucky Vanderbilt game, and Will Levis played all 4 quarters.
Destroyed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Joe Milton is going to be your starting quarterback next year when Hendon Hooker heads off to the NFL.
No
I mean,
question.
I know we talk about Nico and Taven Jackson. This is Joe Milton's team next year.
Yeah.
And he has done a complete 180 compared to what we saw him in that Ball State game, in the Bowling Green game last year.
I'm truly impressed with what I've seen.
Yeah.
You know, the question is, can he do that an entire game? I hope he can. But I will say that just his accuracy in the games he's played and the plays he's been in, it's just been incredible. I mean, it's truly, the confidence is there. He's right on target. You know, a year ago that was not the case. Not even close.
No.
So it'll be interesting to see next year, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Continuing on with the stats, shout out to Dylan Sampson. Led the team in rushing. He had 8 carries, 98 yards, a touchdown. His longest run of the day was 42 yards. He did all that in the second half, because in the first half you had Small and Wright, your typical starting running backs, and then
Morrison,
what's that?
We talked about this, didn't we, on the first podcast or two? I know we did.
Yeah.
We really highlighted a Dylan Sampson here. Now, a lot of people might not have known too much about him at the time. This was right at the beginning of our season, and I'd have to go back, but I know some of the words that were said were, "Hey, this guy is gonna be huge for us in a few years. Hey, he's huge for us right now.
Absolutely.
Get ready for that name. This guy's going to be a beast."
Freshman. Yeah.
He's a freshman.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, he like I said, 8 carries, 98 yards, a touchdown, over 12 yards a rush. And the rest of the running backs did fairly well. Jabari Small, 9 carries, 54 yards, a touchdown. Jalen Wright, 11 carries, 51 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hendon Hooker had 8 carries, 50 yards, and a touchdown. Had that beautiful run in the first half. That like I said, when he went in for the score. Joe Milton had 1 carry for 11 yards. Tennessee on the day, 37 times they ran the football for 264 yards, 5 touchdowns on the ground, and of course, along with 4 through the air. So this is not just an air raid offense, folks.
No, it's not.
This is a very balanced offense, and
People
I know
keep thinking we are, though, Morrison. People talk about it all the time that we're nothing but an air raid. Guys, the numbers don't lie.
No, they don't. I mean, what Mike Leach and Mississippi State does is an air raid offense, and you see Will Rogers throw 50, 60 times a game. Joe Milton only threw 35 passes. But like I said, he was accurate through those times. But, 264 yards
Hendon Hooker?
Hendon Hooker. I'm sorry.
Not Joe Milton.
Yeah.
For all you guys thinking, did Joe Milton play that game?
We're so excited. Kidding. We love both of our quarterbacks.
It happens. Yeah. They know who you're talking about. Hendon Hooker.
Hendon Hooker, yeah. Hendon Hooker, like I said, went 355. And then, like I said, Joe Milton went over 105. Wide receivers, Jalen Hyatt, 7 catches, 146 yards and a touchdown.
Man.
Another solid game for him.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully he's going to be the Blitnikoff winner. We really pushed for him to get that.
We sure did.
I think he's got a great shot. Brew McCoy, 9 catches, 111 yards. Should have had a touchdown. There was a terrible pass interference call that didn't get called in the end zone. But that's neither here nor there. I mean,
that's okay.
That's all right.
He's a great asset for us.
Oh, yeah.
Brew's just been fantastic. I'm a big fan. Big deal if he didn't get a touchdown. This guy, though, he makes catches when you need him. And I've been very impressed with this guy. He plays hard. He's a big guy. I'm proud to have him on the team, Morrison.
Absolutely. I'm so happy for him just getting that second start. Had a kind of a rocky road at USC, but it seems like that's all in the past.
He's home. He's home.
Yes. Yeah, and I still pop when the crowd chants "Brew" every time he makes a catch.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to hear that at least maybe 1 or 2 more years at Neyland. I'm excited for that. Our buddy Squirrel White, 2 catches, 64 yards. Ramel Keaton, 2 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown. That's the touchdown they caught from Joe. Jacob Bourne, 2 catches, 34 yards. Princeton Fayette, 2 catches, 21 yards, 2 touchdowns in the game. And then the running backs all had a catch, and Walker Merrill had 1 catch for 1 yard. So 460 yards through the air. Our wide receivers was ready to play today. Like I said, 2 receivers going over 100 yards. Yeah, this offense is fire.
Yeah, they are. Incredible.
Mm-hmm. And then looking defensively, Jawan Mitchell, 6 tackles on the day, led the way. Aaron Beasley had 5 tackles himself. Tyler Barron had a great game, really kind of broke out, had 4 tackles, including a sack, which led to a pretty funny dance he did after the sack, which I kind of enjoyed. Tamari McDonald, 4 tackles himself. Jalen McCullough. Tennessee had 59 total tackles in the game, along with a couple of sacks, as I mentioned, Tyler Barron. And Pierce Jr. had a sack too, so that was really cool to see.
Oh, yeah.
No picks, but that's all right. We still kind of got a soft secondary.
Yeah.
But
so the Vols finished the season undefeated at home this year.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this on Vol Society Live last night on our Facebook page. When was the last time the Tennessee Volunteers went undefeated at home? Give our listening audience a second as they're driving to work right now, probably listening, or they're pumping some iron and working on the gun show at the gym while they're listening to this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Do they know? Well, we're about to tell you because we actually had a fan on the show last night give us this information.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember, Morrison?
It was one of our viewers checked in last night and said 2007 was the last time Tennessee went undefeated, and I went and checked, and I believed him the first time, but double check, and he is correct. 2007.
Gosh.
Was the last time that we went undefeated.
Been a while, Morrison.
It has. And this is the harder schedule, harder home schedule that we face. Because on the even years, we always face Florida and Alabama, and on the odd years, our toughest home game is usually Georgia, and then South Carolina, I guess, will be number 2. So this was a lot harder to go undefeated, obviously, especially with our recent struggles, and broke the 15-year streak with Alabama, 5-year streak with Florida. A dominating victory over Missouri. Yeah, you have some cupcake games thrown in the mix, but I mean, this is just a great homestand for Tennessee. And we finally started selling out games consecutively. It wasn't just we sold out Alabama, we sold out Florida, we sold out Georgia, and then you can't get 80,000 people to see a power group of six school. Well, remember the Akron game sold out, and then obviously Florida and obviously Bama. UT Martin sold out for homecoming, and then the Kentucky, another big home game, sold out. Missouri sold out. I mean, it's just amazing that what Vol Nation has just resurrected once again. I mean, the fans were still coming out even during the down times, still putting 85, 90,000 in Neyland Stadium, but seeing now that 101,000, and
Well,
you
it just shows you the power of winning.
absolutely that too.
I mean, it's the truth. I mean, we know we have one of the best fan bases in the country.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, man, winning is everything. And when you're out there winning, they're gonna come.
Mm-hmm. We saw
and
it with yeah.
Oh yeah.
We seen it with basketball. We saw it with baseball.
Yeah.
And then with winning, you get people interested going to the games, and then the money starts rolling in. People wants to buy Tennessee football shirts, Tennessee football jerseys, hats. It's kind of the same thing with baseball. We saw it with the Mike Honcho jerseys and the daddy hats, and now with football, you're seeing with NIL, you're seeing Hendon Hooker jerseys and Cedric Tillman jerseys. And
heck, I just bought a Hendon Hooker T-shirt.
You bought a Hendon Hooker T-shirt.
You saw it, and that thing is freaking awesome, man.
Yeah. I mean, I
got to get a Jalen Hyatt T-shirt next. I think I just saw where he came out with one. I love this stuff.
Oh yeah,
this is great.
Yeah, that's one of the positive things about NIL. I mean, we could do a whole podcast on NIL, but that's another topic for another day. But But the fan merchandise stuff is one of the positive stuff.
Oh, it's fantastic. All right, we spent about, we're already going on 30 minutes here, man. We haven't even gotten into the rest of our segments. Let's move on, man. Obviously, end of the day, we just kicked some tail against Missouri, man. That was incredible. 66 points. That's a lot of points. I don't care what you say. All right, let's move on. What did we learn last week, Morrison? What did we learn? Well, I'll name a few bullet points here, and if you have anything you want to add, please do, Morrison. Let's start with LSU beats Arkansas. And I got to tell you, buddy, was it close, 13-10. But hey, a win's a win, and that secures LSU going to the SEC championship to play Georgia. Wish them all the best. Now that we've had all these trolls on our Facebook on Georgia, I hope LSU kicks their rear end. Anyways, let me move on. I don't want to get into more details on that. What else did we learn? Next bullet point for me, Alabama barely gets by Ole Miss. 30-24. That was interesting. What a game that was. Lane Kiffin wasn't happy at the end. And then, more important, some things that kind of pertain to the Tennessee Volunteers. I'd have to say, I'd be remiss not to talk about Oregon. Oregon loses to Washington, 34-37. That was exciting for me, and all Vol fans, it should be exciting for you as well. I'm sure Morrison can elaborate on that if you want to, Morrison. Why? Let me ask you, Morrison, for the listening fans. Why was that a big deal, that Oregon lost?
So, in the college football playoff top 25, we were number 5. Oregon was right behind us at number 6. So, both of us were 8-1 going into Saturday, and both of us lost to Georgia. So we only lost to Georgia, 14 points or so, and lost on the road. Oregon played Georgia in week one in the Chick-fil-A kickoff game and got spanked by them, lost like almost, I think, 40 points. But here's the thing that really kind of may throw a monkey wrench into Tennessee's playoff hopes. If in this scenario, if Oregon ran the table and won the Pac-12 championship, and we ran the table and didn't even play in our conference game, I truly believe the College Football Playoff Committee would have put Oregon in the playoffs just because of that conference championship, and you lost to Georgia. And
No question.
While Tennessee was just going to be on the outside looking in, like, well,
Yep.
too bad you play in the SEC with Georgia and you didn't get to go to Atlanta, and that's kind of what these playoff committees look at. But with Washington going into Eugene and defeating the Ducks, that took a big load off of Tennessee right there.
No question.
And,
that was a very, very good thing for the Tennessee Volunteers.
Absolutely.
For the playoffs.
Yeah.
Period.
I have a guy I work with, was born and raised in Washington State, and he's a Washington Husky fan, and he was exuberated as far as the win goes.
Yeah.
He was very excited.
So that was a big deal. And then the last thing I want to kind of talk about in regards to last week, oh gosh, and I was not impressed. Let me just put it to you that way. You know, we were. I even posted it on Vol Society. For one night only, we're all Texas Longhorn fans. God, they are just terrible. I'm sorry. And you know what, though? TCU's not much better. Hey, I give them credit. They're undefeated. Fantastic. I'm not trying to bash you guys. What I'm saying is the game was boring. 17-10 against a terrible Texas team. They look terrible. I was bored watching it. I was getting mad watching that game, Morrison. I'm sure a lot of people were. Yeah. But the bottom line is I was not impressed at all with either team.
Yeah. I thought the Big 12 was supposed to be the offensive explosion conference.
Yeah. Anyways.
It was like watching the Big 10.
Oh, it's awful.
And I know we have Big 10 listeners, but I'm just speaking the truth.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the truth, you know. It's all love here, guys.
Yeah.
It's all love.
But, yeah.
But anyways, that's what I learned. Morrissey, you got any other bullet points you want to add to that?
I mean, you hit the ones on the head right there about TCU and Oregon. We've got to see what TCU does the rest of the way. They got Baylor and Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship game left. I don't think we'll have to worry about the Pac-12 now. I know USC's 2 behind us, and they have identical records. But I don't really see the committee giving USC a leap. But I want to give a shout-out to the Auburn. It's kind of a positive and a negative, but I'm going to give a shout-out to the Auburn Tigers first and foremost. I know Auburn has had a terrible season. Brian Harson's no longer the coach. We've already mentioned that on the podcast. But I want to give a shout-out to Cadillac Williams, the interim coach.
Wow, definitely.
This program was dead in the water. And I will give credit to Auburn fans. They're very similar to Tennessee fans. They're going to still show up to games, and they're still supportive. I mean, after they beat Texas A&M, and I'm about to get to Texas A&M in a minute, they were so excited just beating them and just having that win for the first time, I think, in almost 2 months. And shout out to Cadillac Williams. We saw him, Brad, when we were younger, play at Auburn, had a great career, first-round draft pick. I mean, he brings a lot of energy to this Auburn program, and I don't know what the future holds for Cadillac Williams, but if I'm a smaller school looking for a head coach to bring some energy to a program to rejuvenate a fan base or light a fan base up, I will look at Cadillac Williams. I was very impressed of just how he handles, a very difficult situation. He's done a great job filling in at Auburn. Like I said, I don't know if he'll be there next year at Auburn, but shout out to Cadillac. And then Texas A&M missed out on a bowl game, Brad. They are 3-7 on the year. They were preseason ranked number 6 in the country, which, you don't win national championships in preseason magazines. Second of all, They had the #1 recruiting class in the nation. They beat Big Bad Alabama as far as being the #1 recruiting class in the nation. And that's when the whole NIL thing started up. Once again, that's another discussion for another
Let's
day.
talk about what really
Go ahead.
matters here
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to that. Jimbo Fisher. How much has this guy's got in this contract here? What's his contract? Do you know?
I know his buyout right now is at $95 million.
You hear that, guys?
If they let him go
$90+ million.
Yes.
God.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to tell you this. I'm sorry. When someone's got that much money, think about that. That's almost $100 million. This is getting out of control. This guy, hey, junior high and high school, someone who's just coached junior high and high school could have done what he could have gotten that record this year for $50,000 a year. I'm not kidding you. This is bad.
It is. It's a bad look for Texas A&M. It's an embarrassing look because this was
it's a total embarrassment.
Yeah, this was supposed to be the year you take down Big Bad Alabama, Big Bad Nick Saban. You know, this is the new sheriff in the Wild West, if you will. And they just totally look awful. They've got their offense is outdated. It's, in shambles. They've had quarterback controversies and injuries throughout the year. They're just throwing whoever they want to out there. And a program that has that much money should not be going 3-7. And
oh my God, no.
I mean, obviously, I don't see Jimbo leaving at the end of the year unless J.R. Ewing or somebody like that ponies up the money and gets him out of town. But I don't really see him leaving per se. But Texas A&M needs to have a come to Jesus meeting sometime in the offseason and be like, where's our future at? Is it with Jimbo? What do we need to do to get to the top of the SEC? Because
they've made a mistake, man. There's some bad things going on there.
Yeah.
I mean, when you got a buyout at $95 million, that's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. And Brian Kelly in 1 year at LSU making probably less or half of less what Jimbo's making is taking him to Atlanta this year.
Oh, yeah. No, there's some issues. This is a really big deal. This is bad.
Yeah.
It's some bad stuff, man. That's some serious money right there, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish them the best. I hope everyone well there, but that is just total embarrassment.
We get Texas A&M at home next year in Neyland. I think in the middle of October.
Good.
So that's a game I'm definitely looking forward to.
No question. How about we move on to the mailbag section? I like that section. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Love hearing from our fans. All right, we have a few here. I think we got like 3 questions here from some of our Facebook fans. Let's get right down to it. We're going to go first to Billy V from Tellico Plains. Billy V from Tellico Plains.
That's near my neck of the woods.
There you go. On Facebook.
Home of the Tellico Beach Drive-In.
There you go. On Facebook, he asked, do you still think the Vols have a good chance to get into the playoffs? Yeah, I do. I really do. I think, to be honest with you, we're still in that number 5 spot. I know TCU did not lose. However, we're just sitting there patiently in that 5 spot, just waiting. Just waiting for that right opportunity to be right there in it. And I think it's going to come. Morrison?
Yeah, so your top 4 right now is recording. Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Michigan 3, TCU 4. Michigan and Ohio State plays the Saturday after Thanksgiving. They always play.
Big game.
Big game at the Horseshoe this year. Whoever loses that game will probably more than likely be out unless something crazy happens that both teams do get in. But I think that's the game that Vol fans are kind of waiting in anticipation. If one of them loses, I think that's where they jump in.
Well,
TCU, yeah,
and there's and you're probably getting to this now. There's also another scenario. TCU could still get beat.
yeah, yeah. They got to go to Baylor on Saturday in Waco, and it's a McLean Stadium in Waco, Texas, where Baylor's at. It's a pretty underrated home field advantage. It's a newer stadium. They played at the old Baylor Stadium for years and years, but this new stadium, like the fans feel like they're right there on the field.
Oh, yeah.
It's a
Wasn't this
really
stadium designed by Chip and Joanna Gaines? Is that right? I'm just kidding. That's an inside joke. Waco, Texas. Anyways, that was so stupid. I don't know why I said that. Anyways, go ahead, Morrison.
No, I mean it's a pretty underrated stadium. And I'm not sure where the Texas Tech game, if it's in Fort Worth or in Lubbock, but they got a pretty tough little schedule coming up down the end, and then whoever they meet in the Big 12 championship game, whether it's Kansas State or whoever finishes second in the Big 12, I I think it's going to come down to waiting for either TCU to lose or coming down to the big game between Michigan and Ohio State.
Yeah, and again, Billy, just wait patiently. We need to win out, which I think the odds are certainly in our favor to do so. But just wait patiently. I really think things are going to play out. We're in a great spot. We really are. So I think it's going to happen. You just got to wait patiently, my man. Let's go to our next question. We have John C. John C. from Paducah, Kentucky. Paducah, Kentucky.
Wow.
All right, John.
Got Vol fans in the Bluegrass State. Man, I love it.
Morrison, we've got Vol fans everywhere.
We do.
We're glad to have you here, John. Well, he asked us on Facebook, what has been your most memorable football moment this season so far? Oh, my God. I mean, is it too cheesy to say the entire season? I mean, we haven't had a season like this. I mean, we've talked about this so many times and so long. We've needed and wanted this for so long, and here we are. I don't know, man. That's a tough one. If you're asking, like, us personally, I think as a whole, most people are probably, Morrison, would you agree? They're probably going to say that Bama win as a whole would be, like, just such a signature win, that means, hey, look what we did. We're back. I mean, it was just an epic thing, right? So, personally, I don't know. Morrison, let's start with you first. Your personal, not personal experience.
Yeah.
What would you say would be your most memorable this season?
I would say, probably number one, the Bama game. Just
okay.
After the Chase McGrath field goal, and we knew the fans were going to storm the field and tear the goalpost down. We knew that kind of scenario would happen, but the excitement, just the 15 years of frustration, and just Vol fans in general celebrating, and then we've had kind of our local celebrities, your Kenny Chesneys and Kelsey Ballerinis and Morgan Wallens, all in country music. Talk
she
about
thinks my
all being at
the sexy. It really turns her on.
Yeah, they were all at the game, and even broke the Peyton curse, and just they had their memories. But it was so big for that. And then the other one was our trip for the Florida Tennessee game. That whole day with the first time game day was there. Yeah, the Bama game was a lot bigger, but just that Florida game, having game day there, we were we walked by it when they were filming, and then
we did a lot of things that game. I mean, we had a tailgate with Josh Dobbs. I mean, we really had a lot of VIP stuff like happening that day. It was really talking to recruits and and not to cut you off, Morrison, but I think I agree with you. I was gonna say that those two things, and for me personally, and the reason why is because, we are both a part of it. So I think that makes sense that we're both thinking the same way. We were both at that Florida game. That definitely was memorable for me. I know it was for you, as you just said. And, of
Yeah.
course, you have to say that Bama game. You just
Yeah.
do. I mean, that Bama game meant everything.
Yeah. I would even throw Kentucky as kind of the whole Kentucky game as kind of like another big moment. Breaking out the dark mode,
Sure.
uniforms for the first time, primetime game, just dominating Kentucky. That's really where, I mean, yeah, the Bama win was big, but I think that's whenever we hit our peak, which hopefully that's not our peak for the year, but really hit our peak up to this point where everybody was really talking about us, and then going into that Georgia game the next week. So
Man, I have
those are
to
probably the
say,
three big ones.
yeah, I have to say also that as far as a shocker game, like I thought the
Yeah.
LSU game,
Oh yeah.
if
yeah.
you think about it, because I don't think anyone in their right mind thought the score would be what it was going to be against that LSU. I really don't. Like, we went over there and just kicked their tail. So that was like, I know it's not the question, but if somebody asked me, like, what was like one of the big shocker games, like that one was a huge one for me.
Yeah.
That told me right there, wow, that was the moment where I honestly looked and I said to whoever I was talking to, I don't even know who it was at the game, but when I was watching that game, but I was like, this team is straight up legit. Like, that just happened.
Yeah. And the interesting part, Brad, is once the season ends, whatever happens to LSU the rest of the season, and you look back on their schedule and you're like, oh my goodness, they got stomped by Tennessee.
I know.
And like I said, now they're number 7 in the playoff poll. It's like, man,
and
they
we
just
stomped
must have
them.
had off and we stomped them.
Seriously.
Yeah.
This is the team that's going to the SEC championship to play Georgia, and we stomped LSU. I mean, just think about that, guys. We just had a bad game against Georgia. That's all there is to it. We were not prepared. Hey, we all have it. Unfortunately, that's a game you don't want to have a bad game. But we did. The crowd played a factor. I mean, it was just so much. We had so much going on. Anyways, we've already talked about that in a previous episode. But anyways, I think, John, hopefully that answers your question, John. There's a lot to be, excited for this year so far, and many memorable moments. Let's put it that way. Let's go to our last question, David. Is that all right with you?
All right. Let's
do it. We're going to go to Huntley D from Ottawa, Tennessee.
Right. Home of the Owls. They were a big rival of ours back in the day.
Yes, they were. Yes.
Huntley
D.
apologize for tearing up your mascot and your flag 20 years ago, but we'll talk about that another day.
That did happen. And we're proud of it.
Yeah,
Huntley D. He asks, is it just me, or is Joe Milton 1,000% better than last year? Well, we talked about this earlier, Huntley, so hopefully you already know the answer to that. But, it's not just you. This guy doesn't, I don't know what he's done. I guess worked hard in the offseason, really dedicated, and has just really worked on his game. And I'm sure the coaches have as well. And whatever's happened, it's been fantastic, and it's shown on the field. Right, Morrison?
Absolutely. He feels more comfortable running this offense. I think there was a lot of pressure on him last year being named the starter. We knew what the skills and tools he had last year. It's just, I think there was just some nerves and some lack of confidence of him.
Agreed.
And then I think losing that job to Hendon Hooker. And one thing I really appreciate, Joe Milton could have easily said, okay, well, I'm going to hit the transfer portal. I'm going somewhere else, third time's a charm. But he stuck it out, and he worked with Hendon Hooker. He was not a total diva to Hendon Hooker. They became very close. I think
they're best
roommates.
friends.
Yeah, they're best friends.
Hey,
and
pure respect for Joe Milton, period.
Absolutely. Like I said, because in today's college football world, he could have easily said, I'm out of here. I've lost my job. What's the point of me hanging around?
9 out of 10 would have done just that.
Yeah.
I'm not
We
kidding
saw
you.
it. We saw it with Harrison Bailey last year. And,
Yep.
Harrison Bailey's not nowhere on the field at UNLV. I'll just say that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
so you got to compliment Joe Milton's character for it, and in relief duty, he's done a fantastic job. He's done what he needs to do. He's learned from his mistakes, and when Henry Hooker's gone, I think this is his team next year. You know, I really thought maybe we would have a quarterback controversy next year between Milton and Nico and Taven Jackson. I think this is Joe Milton's team for now, and then let Taven and Nico battle it out for the backup role.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. All right, let's go to the end of our show here, Morrison. Let's talk just a little bit, just briefly, about this South Carolina game coming up. Okay, Saturday at South Carolina. Do you care if I start on this one?
Go right ahead.
Okay. My thoughts on South Carolina. They lost to Arkansas. They beat Kentucky by 10. They beat A&M, which means nothing. They got destroyed by Florida 38, 38-6? I think it's right.
I think so.
And the game I want you to pay attention to here, everyone, this tells you all you need to know about the matchup this Saturday. This South Carolina team loses to Missouri 23-10. Morrison, real quick, what was that score this past Saturday? Tennessee and Missouri?
Oh, it was Tennessee 60. Hang on, I just lost the thing here.
I think it's 66.
66-24.
66-24. So real quick, guys, I want to do a little comparison. So 66-24, and this team we're playing Saturday lost 23-10. This is the same Missouri that we obliterated. Okay? Bottom line, this should not be a game at all. The Vols should go down to South Carolina, handle their business. Period. I mean, I know I like to exaggerate, and I kind of can be over the top here with my emotions here, Morrison, but that's just truth. I'm just talking truth. Go ahead. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I expect Tennessee to still take care of business. You look at South Carolina, they're 6-4, so yay, they're going bowling. But you look at all the hype for this Gamecock team at the beginning. They brought in Spencer Rattler, former 5-star quarterback at Oklahoma. And of course, we all know the story. Lincoln Riley left. He lost the starting job to Caleb Williams, and now both of them are not there. So you're thinking, okay, well, South Carolina, they're going to contend in the SEC East with Georgia. They got old Spencer Rattler. They got a good offense. They were like Tennessee last year, overseeded expectations. And now you look at where we are and where South Carolina is, it's day and night. Spencer Rattler on the year, he's got 1,900 yards passing on the year, 8 touchdowns, 9 interceptions for Spencer Rattler. That's not a 5-star quarterback to me, and I know stars don't mean a lot.
No.
He's been sacked 20. Listen to this, Brad. He's been sacked 23 times this year, and his sack yardage loss, negative 151 yards.
God.
And he's supposed to be a dual threat quarterback, by the way.
Yeah. Dual threat. You got that right.
So, You know, obviously part of that's offensive line, but it's just been kind of it's just been an underwhelming season for your boy Shane Beamer. Although every win for
He ain't my
him,
boy.
I know every win he has, it's like he's won the national championship, which is crazy.
What is
Uh,
Shane? What is Shane to me, Morrison? You should know this.
I know. I mean,
What is
he is
Shane Beamer to me? What is he?
he's a clown to you.
Bingo.
Yeah,
Nothing but a clown,
yeah.
folks.
It's just a wonder. It's like, how is his dad, Frank Beamer, a legendary coach of Virginia Tech, and that's his son? It's just like,
Hey,
no,
listen, guys.
never mind.
Go on to YouTube and just type in Shane Beamer. You watch some of his videos. That's all I'm going to say. Just go to YouTube. Watch this guy. Just observe him. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anything else. Anyways,
He's a
so
character.
he's a clown. All right. So that's kind of what we're thinking here. Now, to end the show, what do we always do? We reveal our predictions. Let's do it.
Right.
Morrison, I'm starting with you. We haven't talked. I have no idea what you're going to say. You have no idea what my prediction is. But let's start with you. What is your prediction for Saturday night against South Carolina? Go.
All right, so Tennessee and South Carolina. We forgot to mention this during the show. Tennessee's going to break out for the first time, I believe, since either the 30s or 40s, the orange helmets. So Tennessee's going to rock orange helmets.
They look sharp, man.
They do.
I'm serious. Yeah. Those helmets are sharp. And they're wearing all white with it, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
White pants, white shirt. I'm telling you, it's a sharp uniform.
It is. It makes me excited to see what other combos he can do. But as far as like what I think is going to happen, I think Tennessee still takes care of business. Obviously, this is going to be a little bit of a hostile environment. It is a road game. This is definitely the biggest home game for South Carolina this season. But I think Tennessee still takes care of business. They know what they're playing for, a shot in the playoffs. South Carolina's already bowl eligible. It don't matter if they win out or lose out. Hopefully, we think they're going to lose this game on Saturday. I'm going to go Tennessee 49, South Carolina 17.
49-17. I like that. I can see that happening. All right.
Depends on how our secondary plays.
Yeah.
But we already talked about Spencer Rattler's been sacked, over 20 times for negative 151 yards. So you got Rodney Garner as your best defensive line coach. I would blitz Spencer Rattler all night long.
No question. All right. My prediction Saturday. Tennessee obliterates South Carolina with a final score of 62-13. 62-13. What do you think about that, Morrison?
That's very impressive going on the road and getting 62 like that. If it was at home, I would see it. But, hey, it could happen. Like I said, it could happen.
62-13. That's what your boy Brad is coming at you with. We'll find out. David, any more words of wisdom before we call it a night?
No, I'm just excited about the game on Saturday. Then after that, we focus on Vanderbilt, and then we kind of see what the college football fates have us in store as far as where everybody finishes. And think about it, Brad. We think we're going to go 11-1. I mean the worst bowl that we can play in is in the Orange Bowl. For goodness sakes, that's a New Year's Six bowl game. That is fantastic. Unless we totally mess up and go 9-3, but I don't see it happening.
Listen, man, we're making the playoffs. All right.
Yeah.
We're making the playoffs. I'm telling you. We're going to do it. Just sit back and enjoy the show, guys, because we're going to make the playoffs. I'm telling you. All right, well, that's going to do it for another episode here on Good Old Rocky Talk. We thank you for listening. This has been your host and founder, Brad Frank, here with David Morrison, saying good night. Beat South Carolina. And go Vols!